Let's say this, being young and wild, we had more fun on the journey than we did when we got to the destination.
Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got the National of the THUNDERGUARDS MC, John. What's up, man?
I left here one time and I left and went to Miami. Then I left Miami and I was coming up out of the Panhandle. I got a call from my daughter who lives in California, and she said, "You go to Miami, but you won't come see me." And right then I headed for California. So I just stayed out on the road for 36 days straight riding.
And where would you stay?
Well, when I got in certain places, I'd go get a hotel, clean up and all that, New Orleans and Texas. And once I got to Cali, I stayed with her for a few days, but it got to where it was easier to just pull over on the side of the road, take my bag off, lean it up against the tree, and go to sleep.
Yeah, you camped it out like that
because I'd go and I'd spend for a hotel room, and I'd go in there for, once you get in there, then you're no longer tired. You're ready to get back on the road, and I would have to make myself stay and make myself get some rest. And then I just got tired of just spending the money to go in there for, 2 hours. Shit, I'll just lean up against the tree and go to sleep.
Some old school, man. That's the old school way.
Yeah.
So what's it like when you're riding down and you're in the pack?
Mm-hmm. It's a band of brothers. But if you really want to know when you really say this is amazing, is when you can look behind you and you can't see the end of the pack, or you can look in front of you and you can't see the end of the pack. Then you know you got some brothers with you. It's nothing like our brotherhood. We've got a strong brotherhood.
Have you had a lot of crazy experiences happen to you being on the road?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Can you walk me through some?
Let's say this. Being young and wild, we had more fun on the journey than we did when we got to the destination.
Yeah. It's all about the journey, right?
Exactly.
That's what they say. They say embrace the journey.
And it was usually, a strip club or a bike club somewhere, and it usually turned into wild one way or the other, So
being on the road a lot, have you seen a lot of accidents?
You see some accidents, and some of them you can't unsee. Some of your brothers passing. It's just crazy out there. Been close to losing my life a few times on the bike. I've had a few accidents.
Can you walk me through an experience?
I took off to go buy my daughter a birthday gift. And I put her mom on the back of the bike. We're going to ride out and grab her a gift and ride back. But I needed to go there, and I needed to get back in a hurry. I took off and jumped out on the 95, cranked her up, hit about 60 mile an hour, 60, 70 mile an hour, and my front wheel locked up. The motorcycle slid 117 foot, and it drugged me 97 of that. On my face and hands. So tooth was broken off, lodged up into my nose, arms was road rash, face was road rash, everything. But my adrenaline was gone, and I got up and grabbed the bike, moved it off the highway, and went back to my child's mother, and I said, "Hey, we got to get out of here." And she actually looked at me and said, "You might want to sit down." My face was like destroyed.
Oh, so because your adrenaline's going so
Yeah,
much, you're not
I
even.
didn't even know it. She's like, "They're sending the helicopter." I was like, "No, they're not." And then at that point, blood just starts, running down my face, and I'm looking at it drip, and it was, it was something. I mean, I knew I was going to be all right when I stood up, but I had no idea as to, what I really looked like.
So what made the tire lock up like that?
Back then we had bikes, and we wanted to customize them. And originally, this bike came with a fender that wrapped around and had two braces and one bolt up to the middle of it to hold it up in between the forks. And I cut the braces off and cut the fender, made it look nice and everything, and it worked its way loose until it heated. I didn't know that it worked its way loose, but it laid on that tire, and once that tire heated up with that point in it, it just stopped.
Damn.
Yeah.
So what? They come and get you with a helicopter and everything?
Nah, they wound up in the ambulance going to the hospital. Bike got towed in the ambulance, went to the hospital.
And you got to start all over, right?
Start all over.
But I mean, when you're involved with this club, you got a lot of brothers that can help you out with different parts and things like that, right?
Yeah, definitely. You gotta do is put it out there that you need it. We take care of each other.
Now, did you see a lot of accidents in the pack?
I've seen a few accidents in the pack, and usually an accident in the pack comes from a new rider or a bad leader.
Now, what kind of accidents have you seen in the pack?
Running into the back of each other. It's what usually happens. Pack takes off. When they go to come to a stop, not everybody's paying attention.
Yeah.
And somebody running smack dead into the back of another bike. It's what usually happens. I'm real funny about who I like to ride behind me.
Because you get used to the person that's next to you all the time, right?
Yeah. If you're going to ride behind me, you better know how to ride.
I've heard of quite a few stories about people running into other people.
Yeah.
And they say that when you're going slow, that's usually when the accidents happen, right?
Mm-hmm. Usually taking off and stopping. Because it's sort of like a slinky going down the road. You throw it over and it starts to get some momentum, and then the back has to stop. The rest of the pack is stopped. Boom. If they're not paying attention, they're into the back of somebody. We don't play that wheel standing and all that, so you're not going to do that in our pack. But that gets a lot of other people hurt, but we don't play that.
Yeah, like where people are trying to show off and they're like whipping all around, like.
Yeah, that's not here. We don't do that.
It's pretty disciplined riding, right?
You have to be disciplined. If not, you're going to get somebody hurt or killed.
During your time on the road, I know like things being in the road are big obstacles. Have you ever had a problem with that? Like there's a tire right there or something like that?
I've had tires in the road, call them gator traps. It's like a gator. You hit it, and it can come up and just slap you. It can put you on the ground. On the trip to Cali, there was a lot of small animals and a lot of tires from truck tires out there. I guess the heat just destroyed them, but there was a lot of it going out to California. I also was riding behind a pickup where a whole grill came off the back of the pickup and started sliding towards me. And I had cars all around.
Like a grill that you eat from? Like a...
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It started coming straight towards me, and I had nowhere to go, and it wound up sliding to the side in the next lane. It gave me an opening, and I took off. But it was I thought it was going to be curtains for me there.
Yeah, have you had quite a few close calls like that?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
your heart stops real quick. You're like, oh man.
That's where you find out, you know what I mean? You find out if you're a rider. You just got to get back up and get on, even if you do wreck her, though. You know, I've had my ribs bruised up from me going over the handlebars and still staying on the bike. And how I done that, gotta be totally honest with you, it's probably only the drinking. It kept me on the bike. I mean, other than that, I was gone.
You ever get the wobbles on the bike?
Yeah, high speed wobble, death wobble. Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of people say power through it. Some people say, you know, brake. I just back out of the fuel, you know, start coming off the throttle easy. I try to back out of it the same way I went into it.
That's because the center of balance is off, right? The wobbles.
Yeah, the center of balance, you know, transmission moves a little bit as you're going, you know what I mean, unless you lock it down. It could be something simple as, you know, having the weight off in your tour pack or in one of your bags, you know.
Yeah.
Once it gets to wobbling, it's just going to get worse until you slow it down and come out of the wobble. Then you can go back at it, but you got to get out of that wobble.